Welcome to The Energy Says. I'm Jane Sohn, and each week we're decoding the unseen, aligning with our highest timeline, and learning to trust what the energy is trying to tell us. Let's get into it. Welcome to this first episode of The Energy Says. And you guys, today we're talking about the energy says it's time, okay? It is time for you. It is time for your next level. It is time for you to level up. It is time for your dreams to come true. I'm going into all of that. And so much of this has been occurring in my life lately and in the last couple months. And so I'll go into the rebrand. I'll go into how things have started to evolve and how this podcast is going to be moving forward. And maybe there will be some nuggets for you to take home as you listen. So a big part of wanting to do this rebrand was I felt like I was being pigeonholed. How many of you have felt that before? I just felt like I was being pushed into this corner of being this breathwork lady on social media. And yes, I loved making the breath videos, but there just became a point where, is this it? Is this the only thing people want to see from me? Is this all that I'm good for? How many of you had a moment like that where it just felt like suddenly you don't know what happened, but it feels like you're no longer in control of your life and other people are dictating what gets to be true for you? And so I decided that I wanted to make an intentional community, and that's what the Overflow Portal is. That is what I love doing now. I think before I put everything on the podcast, and sometimes it would stick and sometimes it wouldn't. And because people weren't making an investment in themselves, they weren't really sticking with the work. So the work that I created to make an impact on people's lives wasn't quite making the impact that I wanted. And there was a part of me that was hanging on to this old notion that, well, people want to see the breathwork lady, so I have to be that breathwork lady. Who else can I be? People are going to start unfollowing me. People are going to start not watching my posts. I'm going to lose traction. And all of those stories started to come into my head. But here's what I know is true after over a decade of doing this work. What is right for you and your soul is not going to be right for everyone. And when you feel the urge to trust it, when it doesn't make sense, it will move mountains. It will feel like you're going against the current for a little bit because it's against what everyone tells you to do. It's against what society tells you is normal. And if you stay the course, if you continue to trust, miracles get to happen for you. You get to become the person that people go, how are they so lucky? I don't know how they get so lucky. It's not like they do anything, right? You get to be that person. And how much more fulfilling is it being the person that gets to follow your intuition, that gets to live in flow, that gets to know that everything is always working out for them, versus being the person who just follows what society says. You go to a good school, you get a good job. You just work until you have enough in your retirement and then you retire. And then maybe at the ripe age of 65, you get to live your life. That's not what I want for me. And if you're listening to this now, I know that's not what you want for yourself. So if you don't have anyone in your life to tell you, let me be the first. You get to have the life you desire. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter how you grew up. It doesn't matter your background, where you came from, what you look like. None of that matters. It only matters now because you allow it to matter. And so as we go through these episodes in this podcast, I hope to reframe for you the version of yourself you think you are, because there's so much more to you. My work has evolved so much since I started. If you know just what happened in the very beginning of me even starting to coach, I was working my tech job. I didn't have my daughter then. I didn't have my family. And I just had this notion that all I'm good for, all people want to call me for, all people message me on LinkedIn for is, how do I get into tech? That was the question. People wanted to meet up with me for that. And so I kind of became this career coach in a way of helping people break into tech and helping people find who they are and their purpose. And it was funny because that's how I labeled myself. And yet I did so much of what I do now, not all of it completely, but there was a lot of it that I used. And I think I had a hard time in the beginning because it was a little crunchy. This is what my soul wants. This is what my soul desires. And yet I'm working with these engineers trying to tell them to just visualize. It's like, it's crunchy. It doesn't feel like it fits properly. It feels like it's not working. And yet you're trying to follow your soul, and your soul feels like it's leading you down this dark tunnel of who knows what the fuck is on the other side. How many of you have felt that before? And as my journey continued, as it started to evolve, I moved into breath work, I moved into energy work, I moved into somatics, and now today I love tying it all together. Because there was a point in my journey where I felt like if I just learn one more thing, then I'll have the success I want. Then I'll be able to help the millions of people I want. Just one more thing and then. And I think a lot of people get stuck there. They get stuck in the fixing. They get stuck thinking they're so close but not quite there yet, and they just need this one more thing, and then it's going to all unlock for them. And what I'm here to tell you through all the work that I've done is, yes, it could be one more thing, but also it's all here right now. You have everything you need within you. I started as a career coach. I didn't know it would take me down this rabbit hole, but I started with what I knew because that's what I knew to do. That's what I knew how to do. And it brought me here, and it brought me in front of you. And the journey wasn't straight. You know, when I started as a career coach, I didn't know what direction it would take me. I didn't know I'd leave my full-time job, my career. I didn't know any of that. And yet as I started to follow my soul, as I started to follow and continue to dream and dream bigger and think about helping more and more people, it started to evolve in this way. And so wherever you're at on your journey, there's so much goodness that can be waiting for you, just waiting for you. But you have to be brave enough to take that first step, whatever it is. And I think I wrote an email on this today. It's funny because sometimes the things that we think are vulnerable to share aren't vulnerable for us. And it's easy for me to share about my past. It's easy for me to share about how I had days where I had to lock myself in a conference room just so I could cry to get through the workday. And it's easy for me to share that I was raped over a decade ago, and it really brought me to terms with my place in religion and in a church and whether I wanted to be there or not. Those are easy for me to talk about. But for some people, they can hear that and they think, oh, that's really vulnerable. Like that's a really hard thing to share. And oftentimes it's easy to hide behind that fake vulnerability. And so I'm here to tell you, like, there's always another layer to uncover. There's always something beyond what we're currently looking at, what we can't see, that if we have the faith, if we trust that it is coming because we have the energy behind it to back it, it has to come. That is everything that quantum physics says. That's everything that neuroscience says. Scientifically, it is all backed. Even though I am not scientifically versed in telling you all of the names of things, I have read enough studies to know that this works. And what I love about what I do is that you get to collapse time by using energy work, by using somatics, by using breath work. It all gets to come in so much faster. And so as I move forward in this podcast called The Energy Says, expect more of me, expect more of what I love to talk about, expect more of your best friend pushing you in the direction you want to go anyway, but you needing the nudge. Because how many times do we have those friends in our lives who you'll say like, oh, like, I know I worked really hard to run that marathon, but like, I just don't feel like doing it anymore. And they'll go, yeah, then don't do it. I think we all have friends like that. And sometimes we need that. And sometimes it's great. But we also need a little push sometimes. And I think people are afraid to push each other because they're afraid of the potential consequences of that. And so today we're saying the energy, it's time. For me, it's time for a shift. What is it time for you? What the energy says right now is that many of us are being called into a bigger version of ourselves. And I want to speak to the women directly because women especially, we have to understand that we are operating in a patriarchy that is currently crumbling. And what that means is that it is calling you to rise. It is calling you to step into your calling, your gifts, because no one else can fill that place but you. And how you serve in your life, with your family, with your community, it will all start to come to a head soon. And so how are you spending your time? Are you spending it with doing things that light you up, with doing things that give back to you, that fill your cup? Or are you spending it exhausted, trying to manage everyone's schedules and emotions for them? Because this is the time that it starts moving. You start to build in quiet what later on people get to see in public. This is your moment. This is where you start laying the bricks. When you start laying the first few bricks, it looks like a pile of bricks, right? No one can see the vision. They don't know what you're doing. But if you say to yourself, I know this is my moment, this is what I'm building towards, this is where I'm going, it has to come. And so the universe is saying, what are you setting yourself up for today? And that's a question I've had to ask myself constantly over the years. Because it's easy to lose sight of the vision. It's easy to just get caught in the day-to-day. But once we decide that that is where we're headed, when we can defend the vision at all costs, it has no choice but to show up for us. So that life you desire, that one where you're not exhausted every day, where you're not spending most of your time doing something you hate, that life is calling you. It's waiting. Are you ready? And if you said, heck yes, Jane, of course I'm ready, come join the Overflow Portal. It is your place to get breathwork audios, energy code, meditation audios. We have energetic riffs from me. They're going to sound like this podcast, but way vibier. Don't worry. And live calls. We also have challenges to really just keep you aligned. There's so much good stuff inside the Overflow Portal. It is the thing that I come back to every day to just get me feeling good. I'll leave the link to the Overflow Portal in the description for you. Come join us if you know you're ready, if you want to feel aligned every day, if you want a place you can come back to, if you want a community that gets it, it's all waiting for you. Now, I just want to say thank you for being here, for all the shifts, all the upgrades. Let's upgrade together. Let's see how big this thing can get. I love you, and until next time.